proper walkthrough is supposed to start at the beginning. It's pretty simple with this one. In Bastion, you play as a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky. Sorry about that. I just get so drawn in when I hear that soulful, smoky narrator voice. It's like butter for the ears, really. Alright, enough of that. I'm Jerome Phillips, and we're going to dive right into our Bastion walkthrough here.
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky. He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble.
This is the start of the game, and our hero awakes just after the world has seemingly been destroyed. We aren't sure what has happened at this point or where everybody is, but it seems our trusty hammer survived.
Well, it's a touching reunion.
The hammer is a good all-around close-range weapon capable of dealing somewhat slow but crushing blows or faster but slightly weaker attacks. In fact, by standing still and using the hammer, our hero, the kid, performs a heavy overhead smash, but if used while moving, the attack becomes a weaker sweeping motion.
That a survivor? No ma'am, it's a gas fella, forced out from underground.
Combining this with the evade skill will allow for outmaneuvering enemies and properly positioning our hero for some good old-fashioned hammering. Of course, it never hurts to give the crates and debris laying around some hammer time too. All of these items have a chance to drop a few gems, adding to your currency throughout the game.
Kid just rages for a while.
Past the first enemy, the kid finds another weapon, the repeater.
Ain't a gift from the gods, but it'll have to do.
The rapid-fire gun functions and acts as somewhat of an SMG. Using it keeps our hero from moving, but here's some street logic. When you shoot things dead, they don't move much either, as these squirts are about to learn.
So that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink. A school of squirts tunnels up around him. Must have fled here from the mines.
Up and to the left, a path will lead the kid to a memento from a girl he once knew.
Kid finds a memento from a girl he knew. Always used to fancy her.
Because nothing makes you feel better after the world ends than remembering everybody you ever loved is now gone.
It's a wonder the old saloon's still standing. Used to have the nicest view. He sets foot inside one of Celandia's famous watering holes. Inside's old Rondi, the bartender. The calamity got him before his drinking did.
Once inside the bar, the kid finds one of the most powerful weapons in the game, his shield. Don't pick it up just yet though. Introduce your hammer to the bartender up the stairs to hear some smoky voice puns.
Rondi always wanted his ashes scattered here.
Shortly after acquiring the shield, our hero is ambushed.
The security takes him for a petty thief.
There aren't any bar stools or broken bottles to win this fight,
Shield saves his hide.
so our hammer, repeater, and shield will have to be enough.
Windbags start turning up for last call.
The shield obviously blocks attacks, but if timed correctly will actually deflect attacks back at enemies. It won't quite make you Captain America, but this skill deals very high damage and should be used often.
More squirts start coming out of the woodwork. A big old fella pops out in front of the kid.
Once all of the enemies have been defeated, we do the only sensible thing and dive out the back of the bar.
Kid sees the way to the Bastion out the window. It's a bit of a drop. He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow, and it ain't broke.
Luckily, our fall is broken by yet another weapon, the Breaker's Bow. Being a bow and arrow, its power relies on how charged up each shot is. A few turrets pop up here to provide a little target practice. The kid can move while charging his bow, and the shots will actually pierce through targets a bit if they're charged enough. Make sure to use this advantage if firing into crowds of enemies or at creatures behind cover like crates and walls. Before leaving the target practice area, head down to the left to grab an item used for upgrading weapons. It will prove useful later in the game.
Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid.
Down the road, our hero picks up his first secret skill.
Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome.
These are essentially special attacks that use a resource called Black Tonic. Each weapon has its own set of secret skills, and only one skill can be active at a time. Don't worry if Whirlwind isn't to your liking. We can swap it out along with all of our unlocked weapons at the arsenal here.
He finds the distillery, right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job.
As the announcer says, a hammer goes with the repeater like a box of nails. I can't really argue with the wise old Smoky Butter voice, so I'm gonna stick with that setup.
One sip of the spirits in that distillery, and the kid'll feel like a new man.
At the distillery, the kid can swap out spirits that give him special effects. From the start, we only have 3 available, but as the game progresses, we can equip up to 10. After choosing a loadout, we run into our first corn bins.
Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins.
These boxes will shoot out squirts until they are destroyed, so always focus attacks on the bins if possible.
That one was Maud, the tutor. Once taught the kid good manners. He never used them though.
At the end of the path, we'll find the ferry docked and waiting. Activate it to begin his trek across the sky.
An old ferry barge sends the kid on his way.
And spawn a few extra passengers.
The Bastion's real close now.
Taking out all of the turrets while moving may be difficult, so try to focus on reflecting their attacks instead of shooting. Room on the ferry may be tight, so remember to properly use the shield.
The kid better watch his step.
Once at the other end, the kid will find himself in a large square area, the perfect setting for our first boss fight.
Kid takes a chunk of alloy. Smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags. Kid maybe shouldn't have done what he just did.
The key to surviving this fight is understanding what each enemy does and then prioritizing which ones to kill.
Robs a scumbag of his last meal.
It's best to focus attacks on the gas fella, as his attacks will destroy part of the floor and reduce the space of the fight area. Because of this, we can't afford to let him live too long. Try to use secret skills to slowly break down the scumbags, and when the corn bins pop up, break off from the gas fella to handle them quickly. Once the boss has been defeated, the gate will open, and our hero encounters his first core.
He finds the core to the Wharf district. He steals the city's heart, Might as well.
Upon picking it up, the world begins to shake and break apart. This is our cue to run.
Kid has a feeling you better get a move on. The place is starting to fall.
As the platform falls away beneath our feet, we have to race to the end in order to make it to the Skyway portal.
Kid just keeps running. Somersaulting like crazy.
I know it sounds dangerous and scary and Indiana Jones-like, but spoiler alert, falling off the platform would just take you to the same spot. Sorry. Just like that, we've made it through the opening level of Bastion. Once again, this has been Jerome Phillips, your tour guide here at IGN, and I reckon you best saddle on up to our level 2 guide if you think you can handle another shot.
Well, down he goes. Down toward the Bastion.